Have you ever felt like you're the one everyone takes for granted? Like people see you coming and think, oh, easy target, let's take advantage. Let me tell you something, you're not imagining it, and you're definitely not crazy for noticing. The hard truth is, some people out there will test your boundaries, mistake your kindness for weakness, and treat you like a pawn in their personal game. Why? Because they think you won't catch on, but guess what? That all stops today. In this video, we're diving deep into the 7 reasons people try to play you for a fool, and more importantly, how to flip the script. By the end of this video, not only will you see their moves coming from a mile away, but they'll wish they'd never underestimated you in the first place. So if you're ready to reclaim your power, hold your ground and make them think twice about messing with you. Sit back and let's get to work. It's time to stop being their fool and start being their wake-up call. Let's do this. Number 1, you don't set boundaries. Imagine you have a coworker who borrows your pen every morning without returning it, and then casually uses your computer during lunch to check their personal emails without even asking. At first, you think it's fine, I'm just being helpful. But day after day, this behavior continues and you start to feel like your personal space is being invaded. This is exactly what happens when you don't set boundaries. People continue to overstep because you don't say no. Boundaries aren't walls meant to shut people out. They're gates that allow you to decide who can enter your life and how far they're allowed to go. When you don't establish boundaries, you send a message that your comfort and energy don't matter. Not only does this leave you feeling drained, but it also invites others to treat you like a doormat. But let me tell you something, saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you smart. It shows that you respect yourself enough to protect your peace and your time. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about teaching them how to treat you. If you don't set the standard, don't be surprised when people keep taking advantage of you. Think of Brené Brown's words, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. And then here's the truth. You're not responsible for other people's feelings. You are responsible for your peace and your happiness. If someone genuinely cares about you, they'll understand and respect your boundaries. If they don't, then it's time to reevaluate their place in your life. Picture boundaries like a fence around a garden. Without a fence, anyone can walk in, trample the flowers you've tended to, or worse, steal the fruits of your labor. But when you put up a fence, that garden becomes a protected space, a sanctuary where those who respect you can sit, relax, and appreciate the beauty you've created. Start by saying no to the things that exhaust you, to the people who only take without giving, and to the habits that keep you stuck. When you do, you'll find yourself reclaiming your power and confidence. Stoic philosophy teaches us that strength lies in our ability to control ourselves, and setting boundaries is a way to exercise that strength. It's not about shutting others out, it's about building a life where you're respected, valued, and free to grow. Boundaries aren't restrictions. They're a declaration that you deserve respect and that the worth you bring to the world matters. Number 2, you're too trusting. Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. It's like the glue that binds people together, fostering peace of mind and connection. But trust is also a double-edged sword. Place it in the wrong hands, and you might find yourself hurt in ways you never imagined. Imagine you've made a new friend. They always show up when you need them, flashing a warm smile and making you feel like the most important person in the world. You let your guard down, sharing your secrets, hopes, and even your deepest fears. But one day you discover they've used the very trust you gave them to benefit themselves, even to your detriment. It feels like being stabbed in the back by someone you thought you could count on. Trust isn't something to be handed out carelessly. Not everyone deserves the key to your heart. This isn't about being cynical, it's about being wise. As Marcus Aurelius wisely pointed out, judge people by their actions, not their words. A snake might have shimmering scales, but it's still a snake. Building trust doesn't mean constructing impenetrable walls around your heart. Instead, think of it as installing a sturdy door with a secure lock, one that only opens for those who've proven their honesty and loyalty. Let actions, not words, dictate who earns a place in your life. Warren Buffett once said, "Trust is like the air we breathe. When it's present, nobody notices. But when it's absent, everyone does." This reminds us that trust is precious, and once broken, it's nearly impossible to repair. So how can you protect your trust while staying open? Start by observing people's actions with clarity. If someone repeatedly fails to follow through on their words, take a step back. Set clear boundaries in your relationships and don't let anyone cross them lightly. Finally, remember that safeguarding your trust doesn't make you distant. It allows you to cultivate genuine, reliable relationships. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in self-control, and that includes controlling where and how we place our trust. Take a close look at your inner circle. Do the people around you genuinely deserve your trust? Have they shown through their actions that they're sincere and honest? If not, it's time to reevaluate, because trust isn't just a gift you give, it's also a shield that protects your peace, your future, and your well-being. Reason number 3, you ignore red flags. We've all been there. Someone shows us exactly who they are, but we choose to look the other way. Why? Because we want to believe in the good in people, or we're afraid to admit that we've misplaced our trust. But let me tell you something, ignoring red flags is like walking into a storm without an umbrella. You won't just get a little wet, you'll be drenched, left wondering why you didn't see it coming. Take Sarah's story, for instance. She had a friend who constantly canceled plans at the last minute. At first, Sarah convinced herself they were just busy or had unavoidable conflicts. But as the cancellations piled up, accompanied by increasingly questionable excuses, she knew deep down what was happening. Instead of confronting the truth, she kept hoping they'd change. The result: she felt drained and disappointed after investing so much energy into a one-sided relationship. Ignoring red flags doesn't make you noble, it makes you vulnerable. Stoicism teaches us that strength lies in recognizing the truth and acting on it. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." This isn't just an inspiring quote to hang on your wall, it's a life lesson. It reminds us that dismissing warning signs doesn't just disrupt our peace, but also entangles us in unhealthy relationships. Picture this: you're driving and see a sign that says "bridge out ahead." Would you keep speeding toward it, hoping the sign is wrong? Of course not. You'd slow down, reassess, and find a safer route. Red flags in relationships are like those signs. They're not there to annoy you. They're there to protect you. So how do you stop ignoring red flags? Trust your instincts. Don't disregard that uneasy feeling. It's your internal alarm system. Evaluate people's actions, not just their words. Someone may say they care, but their behavior often tells a different story. Have the courage to make decisions that protect your peace. Don't be afraid to let go of a relationship that doesn't serve you because you deserve connections that truly value you. When you stop ignoring red flags, you'll surround yourself with people who uplift and appreciate you. You won't just protect your peace, you'll build a life aligned with your values. So the next time you see a red flag, don't ignore it, thank it, because it's showing you the truth and giving you the chance to make better choices for yourself. Reason number 4, you're afraid of confrontation. No one enjoys conflict, right? Let's be real, it's uncomfortable, messy, and sometimes downright scary. But avoiding confrontation is like ignoring a crack in your house's foundation. At first, it's just a tiny crack, but if left unchecked, it spreads, weakens the entire structure, and before you know it, everything you've worked so hard to build starts to crumble. The same is true in relationships and life situations. When you avoid confrontation, the problem doesn't disappear. It grows, causing greater harm and becoming harder to fix. Take Lisa, for example. She has a coworker, Mark, who constantly takes credit for the team's ideas. Lisa feels frustrated but never speaks up, fearing it might create tension. Each time she stays silent, Mark grows bolder, overshadowing her more and more. Over time, Lisa feels invisible, disrespected, and begins doubting her worth in a job she's poured her energy into. That's what happens when you're afraid of confrontation. People notice you won't stand up for yourself, and they take advantage of it. But here's the truth. Confrontation doesn't mean picking a fight or becoming aggressive. It means protecting your boundaries, expressing your truth with clarity and respect. Let me be clear, saying no or setting boundaries doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a smart one, someone who values their time, energy, and peace. If someone genuinely respects you, they'll listen and understand. If they don't, that's your sign to reassess their role in your life. Stoicism teaches us that peace comes from living in alignment with your values. Winston Churchill once said, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen." Confrontation isn't just about speaking up, it's about communicating with confidence and respecting both yourself and the other person. When you confront, you don't just address the issue at hand, you set a precedent for how you expect to be treated moving forward. Think of confrontation like weeding your garden. It's not fun, but if you don't pull those weeds, they'll spread and choke the life out of your beautiful flowers. The same goes for your relationships and opportunities. Confrontation isn't about creating distance. It's about protecting your space and encouraging growth. So the next time you're faced with a situation that calls for confrontation, remember it's not about aggression, it's about assertion. It's about standing firmly in your truth while respecting the humanity of the other person. And when you choose to confront instead of avoid, you're not just solving a problem, you're reclaiming your power and peace. Reason number 5, you seek validation from others. Let's be honest, seeking validation from others is like running on a hamster wheel. No matter how fast or hard you try, you're not getting anywhere. By constantly chasing approval, you're handing the power over your life to someone else, allowing their acceptance to dictate your value, and trust me, they know it. They'll use it, keeping you confined, making you play by their rules instead of living by your own. But here's the most dangerous part. You're the one locking yourself in. Take Jane, for example, an employee who goes above and beyond to earn her boss's praise. She stays late, takes on extra work, and agrees to every request. Yet the compliments she craves only come in small, infrequent doses. When they don't, she feels frustrated and doubts herself. Without realizing it, she's handed control over her emotions and self-worth to someone else. The truth is, you don't need anyone's validation to be valuable. Your worth isn't measured by likes on a social media post or the compliments you get from your boss friends or family. Your worth comes from how you see yourself, from the effort you've put in, and from the victories you've achieved, no matter how big or small. Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent," and she couldn't have been more right. When you seek validation from others, you're giving them the authority to decide your value. But what happens when you stop? What if you start validating yourself? When you complete a task, take a moment to acknowledge your effort and say, "I did this. I worked hard and I accomplished it." When you face failure, remind yourself it's just a lesson, not a final judgment on your worth. And here's the magic: those who once manipulated you with their approval lose their grip. They'll realize you no longer rely on their applause to feel good about yourself. Imagine your life as a painting and you're the artist. Seeking validation from others is like handing strangers the brush and letting them paint over your masterpiece. But when you validate yourself, you take back the brush. You choose the colors, the strokes, the vision. That's the power of self-affirmation. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true strength lies within. Set your own standards, respect your worth, and build a strong relationship with yourself. When you stop chasing external validation and start giving it to yourself, you become not only stronger but unstoppable. And let's be real, the world needs more unstoppable people like you. So start today. You're worth it. Reason number 6. You fear being alone. Loneliness for many feels like a quiet fear that compels us to cling to things that no longer serve us. It convinces you that any companionship is better than none. But here's the hard truth: being with the wrong person is lonelier than being alone. Sitting across from someone who disrespects you, drains your energy, and doesn't lift you up is the deepest kind of loneliness there is. Take my friend Emma, for example. She stayed in a relationship where her partner constantly chipped away at her self-esteem. But Emma didn't stay because she was happy. She stayed because she feared the emptiness of being by herself. Day by day, she grew more exhausted, smaller within her own story. She didn't realize that her fear of loneliness was trapping her in a place far worse than any quiet evening alone. Instead of fearing loneliness, learn to embrace it. Loneliness is an opportunity to discover yourself, to truly listen to your inner voice, and to rebuild your personal strength. Spend time walking through a park, diving into that book you've been putting off, or simply brewing yourself a cup of tea and savoring the moment. It's not isolation, it's nourishment for your soul. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "I don't trust anyone who doesn't love themselves, but tells me they love me." When you learn to love yourself, you radiate positive energy and set the standard for how others should treat you. And remember, this won't just repel the wrong people, it will attract those who truly value you. Stoic philosophy teaches us that independence isn't isolation, it's the foundation of inner strength. When you stop fearing being alone, you stop settling for what drains or hurts you. Instead, you make room for growth and build a life that aligns with your values. Treat time alone as an opportunity to clear out the clutter of your emotional closet, removing what no longer fits and making space for what truly matters. So the next time you feel fear creeping in about being alone, See it as an invitation to better understand yourself. Remember, you're never truly alone. You have yourself, the most important companion in your life. And when you genuinely love who you are, amazing things will find their way to you, not to fill a void, but to shine a light on what's already complete within you. Reason number 7, you give too much without receiving generosity, is a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's like sunlight bringing life and hope to everything it touches. But even the sun needs to set, because if it shines endlessly, without time to recharge, it burns out. The same goes for you. When you give too much without ever receiving in return, you might think it's kindness, but in reality, it often makes you an easy target for being taken advantage of. When you don't set boundaries, people will take everything from you without a second thought. And there you'll sit empty and exhausted, wondering why they never appreciated you. Let me share the story of David. David was the go-to guy for everyone, whether it was working overtime to help coworkers or lending money without expecting it back. He was always there. At first, he thought he was building strong relationships. But over time, he realized that the people he helped rarely asked if he was okay or even said thank you. David wasn't just drained, he started questioning his own worth. The issue isn't your generosity, it's how you give. As Maya Angelou wisely said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. If people only take without ever giving back, that's a red flag. Kindness doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It's about creating balance. Stoic philosophy teaches us that giving should come from a place of abundance, not depletion. Think of your energy as a bank account. If you keep withdrawing without depositing, you'll go bankrupt. Protect your energy by setting boundaries. Learn to say no to things that drain you. Focus on relationships where giving is mutual, where both parties share and uplift each other. Remember, saying no doesn't make you selfish. It shows you understand your value and are willing to protect your peace of mind. When you give your generosity to those who truly deserve it, you not only preserve your energy but also inspire others around you. Because in the end, true kindness isn't about giving endlessly. It's about knowing when to hold back to take care of yourself. So you've now learned the 7 reasons why people might play you for a fool. But let me tell you something, this isn't the end of your story. It's just the beginning, a powerful beginning. Because here's the good news, every single reason we discussed is within your control. That's right, you hold the power to change it all. You can set boundaries firmly, protecting your peace and your self-worth. You can become more discerning with your trust, learning to focus on action instead of falling for sweet words. You can affirm yourself, celebrate your accomplishments, and know that your value isn't tied to anyone else's approval. You can confront issues even if it makes your voice tremble, because courage is what will take you forward. You can recognize red flags and make the bold choice to walk away when necessary. You can balance your generosity with wisdom, knowing that giving should come from a place of love, not obligation. And you can embrace solitude as a sacred space for growth, discovering the strength that comes from being your own best companion. Above all, you can learn from every experience, the good, the challenging, and even the messy. The power has always been in your hands. Yes, people will test your limits. They'll try to exploit your kindness or see how far you'll go to accommodate them. But here's the kicker, they can only succeed if you allow them. Don't give them that permission. Stand tall. Speak your truth. Refuse to let anyone diminish your light or dictate your worth. Remember Eleanor Roosevelt's wise words, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." That's the truth. You're not a victim of circumstance or someone else's opinion. You are the author of your own story. And when you take ownership of your choices, your narrative, and your power, you become truly unstoppable. So don't just hear these words, live them. Set those firm boundaries. Trust wisely. Walk with courage. Step away from what doesn't serve you, and let the world see who you truly are, a powerful, confident, and radiant individual. Because the world needs the boldest, fullest version of you, not a timid, held-back imitation. Thank you for showing up. Keep shining. If you love this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. Leave a comment below with the words, "I own my power," to let me know you're ready to take control of your life.